our adolescent years, when we're growing into a young adult, going through puberty, and we start smelling ourselves, start feeling, and we feel like certain things make us a man, and the streets, the streets do that to us. That's why I never understood why people praise the street guys. Street guys, it all seems so juicy, man, when you out there in the streets, because 9 times out of 10 when you out there in the streets and you surrounded by street people in that type of environment, you're not exposed to the other side of life, the beauty of life, the real things that's going on out here in the world, outside of the little bubble or your little few block radius or your neighborhood or whatever. And this young guy, man, he got tied up with the wrong crowd. And as you see, peer pressure. The older guy told him that he had to do the shooting. They wanted him to be involved. Which is crazy. I would never understand that. But peer pressure. The young guy probably already, I'm quite sure, he already kinda, had that in his cards, by hanging with these type of guys. He already had that in his cards. Eventually he was gonna shoot somebody or rob somebody or possibly murder somebody. Because a lot of times when these young guys, man, they get into these gangs, man, it all look good, it look cool to them, the dress code and the gang signs, the twisting of the fingers, and just the girls acknowledging the status of the street status anyway, because they ain't got no status in the real world. But the little funky little neighborhood, little neighborhood girls, they admire these guys. They're like the closest thing. They're like the closest thing to class and wealth, because you might see him in a little Hellcat. You know what I'm saying? You might see him in a nice car, nice watch. And, the youth under them, sadly, they tend to look at these guys as if, these are the role models. And, I have to admit, I was one of those guys at one point in my life. I was the young guy.